Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I finally opened some of my recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this video. You know, if you're into toy collecting or action figures or pop culture in general, please consider subscribing to this channel because I've acquired a lot of toys in the last few years, and for one reason or another, I simply haven't opened them until now. And today, I'm going to be opening Egon Spengler from the Ghostbusters Fright Features series. Now, if you saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, you know that this figure is pretty poignant and significant in pop culture right now. I am going to be spoiling some pretty significant moments in Ghostbusters Afterlife. So if you haven't seen that movie, don't watch this video until you do. But if you have, then you know that Egon does indeed appear at the end of the movie, despite Harold Ramis's passing a few years ago. And the moment was poignant and, quite frankly, beautiful. And considering how many celebrities we've lost already in 2022, I think that the sequence in which Harold Ramis's Egon Spengler appears offered a bit of closure to fans, whereas before they might not have had that feeling of farewell to not only a great character, but an incredible actor and comedian and director. So it was quite cathartic, I'm sure, for everybody involved, from the folks in the movie to the folks making the movie, and of course us as long-term fans of the Ghostbusters watching the movie. So this Fright Features action figure series is one of at least two that came out around the time of Afterlife's promotion and release. The other series is a bit, I think it's called the Plasma series, is a bit more realistic in its sculpt and representation of the characters and actors from the movie. I opted for this series because I like the way that it kind of caricaturizes the actors and comes kind of close to the real Ghostbusters incarnation, the cartoon that we remember from the 80s. I think that this line of action figures kind of straddles the fence between the way they appeared in the cartoon and the way these actors, of course, look like in real life. So I was pretty happy with that. The Plasma series, again, kind of just cribs off of the sculpts from the Matty Collector line that went to retail about, 20 years ago, and then maybe 10 years ago they went to retail. I don't do any research prior to these videos. I just know that I had the original Matty Collector's action figures, Matty Collector action figures. I had the four guys, and I got Walter Peck, and I kind of stopped there because I was also buying the Masters of the Universe Classics at the time. And when you're talking about $20-25 a piece per action figure every month, well, I was investing $75 a month in Mattel product. And I probably do something like that now, but at the time, in my 20s, it was like, this is almost a utility bill at this point. So I drew the line there and ended up selling those figures. But it seems that I could reclaim them anytime thanks to their constant re-release at retail. They're not mail-order exclusive anymore, and I'm pretty grateful for that, actually. And other characters like Dana and Gozer are also available. When it comes to character availability, as much as I like the look of these figures, one thing that did disappoint me was I bought all four of the original Ghostbusters at the same time at a Target, I believe. And they all came with these kind of generic ghosts. I'm sure it has a name, as most Ghostbusters ghosts do. But they were pretty generic looking ghosts. And then I noticed at Walmart, just a few weeks later, Peter and Winston came with a Terror Dog and Slimer, respectively. And I was really disappointed that I'd have to buy these figures again. Again, not educating myself in advance on the release of these guys. I just figured the way I saw them at Target initially was the way I'd always see them. But I don't know if Walmart was exclusively offering those included ghosts, or if that was a second wave of figures. I've seen a few different reports online. So I still have the original Target figures. I did not buy the Slimer and Terror Dog variants I saw at Walmart. I think someday I will, if I see them again. I think I might cave in, buy those figures, at least the Peter and Winston, again, that come with Slimer and the Terror Dog, because those are the preferred ghosts. Those are characters we know from the movies. And then I'll try to return their Target incarnations, because I don't want two of every figure. And as you can see, I'm trying to open and display these toys. I don't like them sitting around in a package, and I don't like having duplicates. So to that end, we're going to open Egon right now, and I'm pretty excited about this. So the back of the package has these kind of plastic flaps from the bubble that wrap around here. I'm wondering if I can open the figure that way. Again, I don't prepare for these videos per se, so I didn't grab a pair of scissors or a knife. I do see that the bubble is taped with almost, it just looks like packy tape. It's nothing super fancy there. So, and the back of the figure, it doesn't even show other product. It's just all text. What is all of this saying? You know, there was a time when you would buy an action figure and you would have beautiful pictures of the other figures in the line, and maybe a hand-drawn bio or a origin sequence. A lot of that stuff is really fading away, and it's disappointing, quite frankly, because the prices of action figures are going up. Now, I think these were reasonably priced at maybe $9.99 a piece, which is why I bought all four immediately, and I have seen them sparingly since. So yeah, I was able to just run my finger here along this bubble and open it that way, and then a very clean card removal. Look at that, the card's almost like, if I had been even more careful, completely intact, but again with very little and now that the card is removed, I could see there's some of the little Stay Puft guys and Muncher and the remote controlled trap from the movie. I don't know how well you can see these, all images basically from Afterlife. But pretty neat. Okay, Egon's removal. Pretty clean so far. Here we go. I do like the hand-drawn art here. I'm sure there's an official term for this kind of cardboard insert that hugs the bubble like that. And I presume companies do this so that they don't have to offer much variation in this, right? So you could print this card front at least, and it's the same for every figure. The back, obviously, is specific to Egon. And in fact, the little bio says, "The brains behind the bustin', Egon Spengler takes on the most frightening ghosts in town." And then it reiterates that sentence in like 15 different languages. So as much as I wish there was more design element here, it does go to show the international scope of these characters that we so love. So that's cool. And then again, I was mentioning this card art here. Very nicely drawn. I almost wish an artist credit was given to stuff like this, you know? Because the likeness is pretty cool. It's not your traditional... Again, it's not quite the real Ghostbusters, and it's not an exact, like, Alex Ross kind of photorealistic capture of the character. It's somewhere in between, and I really like that. Okay. I am removing Egon from the package. No rubber bands or ties, which is great. Points of articulation are very simple. Are we just looking at a 5-point? Looks like it, which I like, because now that I'm getting a good look at them too, the sculpt of the legs is really reminiscent of the real Ghostbusters action figure line, the cartoon version. So there he is, Mr. Egon Spengler, ladies and gentlemen. Very easy to stand here. I'm going to remove the ghost next. So, upon looking at the ghost, I realized that it's not quite a little Stay Puft, But it is a little cute kind of character, right? And then the Fright feature, I presume, is pushing this button on the back, and it opens the terrifying ghost within. And that's how it was packaged, so there's no shock there, but pretty cool. I kind of like that versatility, because the original Ghostbusters line just came with these beautifully sculpted but very static, no articulation. These little ghosts, remember the little plastic ghosts? And while some of those had a hard time standing, this one stands with no problem. And there's a little cardboard insert here for instruction, I suppose. And then finally the Proton Pack. And this is kind of woven into the plastic, actually, so the wand is like, and then I gotta pull it through. An interesting note that the packs in this series don't come with their own proton streams, the energy bolts that shot from the wand here. And I remember, of course, as many action figure collectors do, that those original packs from the real Ghostbusters line had that, you know, kind of neon colored swirly stream that came off the wand. And it made for cool play, but there was a part of me as a kid that was a bit of a purist about these things, and so I cut those off the first few real Ghostbusters action figures I had, so that it just looked like this, and I could have the guys carry around their packs and guns without looking like they were shooting the whole time. I also did that with the Star Trek The Next Generation action figures from Playmates. They came with little phasers, and I cut the beam that was shooting out of the phaser, because again, I just wanted the figures to hold the weapon. I didn't want the weapons to look like they were mid-fire. So I really like this. I appreciate this. It's just a solid piece of soft plastic. Let's see how easy it pops into the back of Egon, and if it stays well. And it does. Fits perfectly. I'm curious about the way they come out nicely as well. I do see a potential for they have kind of this crescent or half circle shape here and here. So it fits nicely. Now I remember with the original, the real Ghostbusters action figures that I had, I should have brought one over here to compare. But I remember I would kind of strip the hole in the back of the figure from taking the pack on and off so often. So I wonder if this has that potential, or if we've grown past that. Now again, because the arms don't have elbow or wrist points of articulation, which we often take advantage of nowadays for posability, when he's holding the wand, it's pretty much just, it's in one position. And that's it right there. So not a super dynamic pose, but very easy for playability. You know, I often think sometimes more points of articulation just means more potential for breaking a figure, if you're a kid that wants to play with it anyway, and not some adult like me that just messes with it for 5 minutes and puts it on a shelf for 20 years. But I've just noticed there's a little slot here in the gun, which means it must be able to go pretty easily, I'm guessing, right there. And I'm not having the easiest time. I wonder if I'm doing something wrong, or if that's where it even goes. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it was easy. It was just kind of at a slant, and I was going in straight. Story of my life. So there he is, Egon Spengler, from the Ghostbusters Fright Features series that was released late last year in promotion for the Ghostbusters Afterlife film. And I do think that the spirit of Egon Spengler and Harold Ramis was were not only well represented in the film, but also in this action figure and in the merchandise that has come out around that movie. So here he is, folks. Plain and simple, which is what I like in my toys. So if you have any thoughts or comments on this line of action figures, please leave those comments below. I'd love to read what you thought of not only the movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife, but the toys that came out in their wake. Do you prefer in its wake now, do you prefer the plasma series, which is more realistic looking, a little taller with more points of articulation and posability? Or do you like something like this, which is kind of more cartoony in a way, more of a caricature of the actor, and something that kids might more easily play with and be interested in? Let me know what your preference is below. And tune in next time when I look at another one of these toys laying around in my living room and I tell myself, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.